Sydney,
Sorry,
what would you like to tell our test takers about your testing journey?
it's glitching a bit, but essentially my journey started I think a couple years ago, and I ended up getting my MBA, so I ended up taking like a huge break in between studying. And I was defeated by the seven a couple times. And I really wanted to give up at times, but honestly, it was all Dean Tinney and Brian Lee that kind of kept me motivated, and saw like a confidence in me that I didn't really have in myself at the time. I literally couldn't thank the two of them enough. The material that I was able to like overcome, in terms of like not fully grasping certain topics, like I was able to get over with Dean. Um, and now the information is so embedded in my head that I'm able to help, friends that are taking the exam, um, just different topics that they struggle with, certain kind of tricks and tips that I learned along the way. And so I passed my 7 in December, and now I'm on to the 66. So kind of the journey right now.
I love it. Lady Brill, who's another victorious test taker, says, how do you feel now that you're done testing? I think you still have one more, right? You have your 66?
One final one, yep, that I'll be sitting a month. So.
Yeah, as I told you, you got to stay resilient, and Sydney's certainly proof of resiliency. And I really used to tell her, listen, you know this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just got to, not be second guessing yourself. As I always say, it's so important that you're confident in the execution of your study plan. You're
Yes.
confident in yourself. And most importantly, you're confident in your answers. That is so important. Now, I get lots of people who ask me, do I have breakpoints for tutoring? And I say, oh, that's a good question. Are you saying, can you sign a letter of intent and agree to
Mm-hmm.
buy a certain number of hours of tutoring, and then I'll give you a discounted rate up front? And as Sydney knows, the answer to that question is no. However, she became such a good tutoring person that I did give her a right of accumulation. Rights of accumulation, remember, you don't get the discount till you've actually bought something. And she bought enough tutoring. I said, come on, this is on me. We're going to get this done. You're going to pass your test. P.S. If I didn't think she would pass, I wouldn't be spending all kinds of time with her, because that would be bad for her, and that would be bad for me. All right, let's see.
Well,
What exam did she take? She took her SIE, her 7. I think you're working on your 66, right?
Yes. I took my 7, but the 7 was a little more difficult for me, mainly because I had really bad testing anxiety. I don't know what it was, but the material at first, I don't think I was studying the correct way, but going through Kaplan's textbook helped me tremendously. I took notes, like very detailed notes on the entire textbook. I then went from there to the Q Bank. I also, for this, for my December exam, I also had STC and I had Notman, and I just
She
kind of
bought,
went.
man, I'll tell you what, she bought. Good
I had a
news.
book.
She has the resources, but man, I said, don't get too many voices in your head, but she's got a mom. Hey, Amir, we owe kudos to people like Sydney, because if you like those walkthrough exams, Sydney was always giving me permission. She's paying, for those shared screen tests. And, I charged $750 for those. And she was always kind enough to say that I could share her exams with other folks who were testing. So that means, Amir, we might have some 66 exams that maybe Sydney will do with me, that you'll give me permission as well to do. And the other thing that was nice about Sydney, having all those course materials, we were able to get permission from STC and Knopman to put some of that up on the channel as well. So if you like those, stay tuned, because there's always more of those coming around. Oh, let's see. We have anything else for you, Sydney?
Anyone on the
Looks
live
like you're a test taker. Looks like that's pretty much it. All right. Well, thank you so much. Like I say, you're always welcome on the channel, Lady Brill. We always want victorious test takers. I see that Amir passed his exam. Amir, we love it when you take the time to come back. We ring the bell for testing victories. And Amir, we love it. It just is good for morale when people see victorious test takers coming back and sharing their journey. So if you're out there on your journey, please remember you're not on your own. You have our Tuesdays, you have the weekly Q&A jam session, You have people like Sydney and Lady Brill who are empathetic. They know what you're going through. And someday this will all be through. You know, I always joke when you're watching through the valley of death, walking through the valley of death, you got to keep walking. You know, I'm off grid and my brother had problems with his solar system and we've been trying to fix it. And I go, Chris, it is what it is. We just got to keep working on it because you can't be off grid without reliable power. Right. So, all right. Thank you so much.